What's up guys, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. It's an impromptu one tonight because I'm just about to set up a new T1 planet. I need some additional proteins for my setup. So basically following on from my last video where I showed you my T4 production line in the Wormhole for Wetware Mainframes, which I'll come up in the top corner I think now. Basically I want to add T1 production planet on one of my alts, and I thought as I'm going to do it, I didn't go into much detail in that last video, so I'll just do a quick detailed tutorial on how I set up my planets in the Wormhole. You probably can't do the same setup in HiSec because of the mineral abundance, but this is what I do at Wormhole. There are other ways of doing it. This isn't the best or correct way. Everyone has their own way of doing it. This is mine. So just quickly, I'm obviously docked up in my Terra, just any vessel that's got a cargo hold over 1,000, because I need to go and drop a command center on the temperate planet. I know that proteins are what I want, and proteins can be found on either oceanic or temperate planets. If you want to find out what planets they are on, you just here we are, just find the item you want to do it, go Planetary Production, and it will sorry, it did earlier, must have been a different way. Okay, so really quickly in agency, find there we are, complex organisms. You have to go to the basic level. So if I'd gone into proteins, you go into proteins information, go into the raw resource, and it will tell you what planet they're available on. I don't have an oceanic planet available in this system, so I need to put it on the temperate planet. So got my temperate command center in my hold, undock. Yes. Once you're undocked, you can just find the planet you need, which is planet 4, view Planetary Production, and then whilst you're tethered still, so I'm just going to stop my ship so I don't drift too far, you don't have to warp to the planet or anything, you can just place your command center. So I need to minimize that, complex organisms, do my scan. Obviously the white is where the resource is abundant, so let's go around here and let's drag it up to increase the resolution, and yeah, this looks like a good spot. So I'm just going to, it doesn't actually matter where your command center is, but I like to put it nearby, because when you open the planet it zooms to your command center, and then you'll have to move around the planet trying to find your actual setup. So then you're just going to build, this area might be blurred I suppose, and then just place it on the planet, hit submit, and then you can dock back up.
Docking request accepted.
And now you're completely safe, which is very important obviously while you're in the Wormhole. You don't need to be floating around in space while you do your PI setup. Once that's down, wait for the sound to pass. I'm going to upgrade all the way because I've got the skills to do so. So that's now upgraded, and I'll hit submit. So first thing I want to do is build my extractor control unit, and obviously the extractor heads are, I'm sorry, I just need to tone down the volume in the background. I'll just do what is it, world level? I'll just do the master level, so that's not so disruptive. Return to game. Right, let's find that my planet again now. Industry, Planetary Production, just the one on this alt, my first planet on this guy. Right, back to it. So go back to the scan tab, complex organisms, and then build extractor unit. The greyed out circle you can see moving around is the range of the extractor heads, so you just want to make sure they can reach into the good area. So I'll go up to here, the abundant area. So I like to do one extractor control unit and then a launch pad directly below it. I like to zoom in because the smaller your links the better, because they take up power grid and CPU, so and that's all dependent on their length. So launch center, and I will be putting a storage facility in as well. And because I've got the spare capacity, I put a second storage center in as well, in case I'm not going to be able to move my commodities off the planet for an extended period of time. On a wormhole they're quite abundant, so most of the time this storage unit will be not particularly in use, but you know, it's useful to have it there. And so that's the basic setup there, and then I place 8 basic industry facilities down. Again, 8 is normally overkill, especially on a protein planet, but I think 6 is enough. But I put the 8 down just in case there's some excess work to do, and I can extract every last resource out of the planet as efficiently as possible. And again, making it all nice and close to keep the links as short as possible. So when they're all down, you then need to link them up. So I go extractor unit to storage around each way through the control center, the factories, around to the other storage, and then that storage into Launchpad. And that's set up, and I hit submit on that now. That's all locked in, and then there's plenty of CPU left to put 10 heads in. So you need to select the. Also, I'll go through that a little bit slower. Sorry, I have selected the extractor unit. Actually, before I do that, because I'm in a wormhole, you can get really high volumes of products. So for the link going from the extractor unit to the storage unit, I just need to upgrade that once and submit. The annoying thing is when you put the units this close together, the links are really hard to click on. See, like I'm trying here and I can't, so you have to zoom in as close as you can, and then you might be given the opportunity to there, so you have to get lucky. But now it's upgraded. So back to the extractor control unit, program not active, that's fine. You want to install an extraction program at the bottom left. To bring up this window, you need to select the resource you want. For us it's complex organisms, and the duration you want the program to run for. I'll be doing mine for 1 day 45 minutes, because that is the maximum amount of time it can run in 15-minute cycles. And then I've got enough power grid and CPU to turn on all 10 heads, so we'll turn them all on, and then we want to place them in the most abundant regions. So I'm going to place them in all the white regions on here as best I can. You have to not let the circles around each head overlap, because if you do, you'll see over here you get negative numbers, because they're extracting the same bit of resource. So you've got to have them spread out enough that they don't touch. The resources do move over time. There's always the same amount of resource on a planet, but you extract it. So I'll be extracting it heavily from this section now, and I might deplete it here and it might spawn somewhere else. That's a bit annoying, but you know, it's manageable. And once you've got them set up how you want, just hit start extraction. So those heads are now extracting. As you can see, it's pending, so it doesn't actually start until you hit submit. So I'm going to do that now, and that means we've got 15 minutes to get the next bit set up, because you can see current cycle, if I move that out here, is 10 seconds out of 15 minutes. So you can see the big red thing here saying not rooted. We need to root our products. Sorry that I'm quite croaky, by the way. I'm not sure why. Try and talk through it. So go to the products tab, and you can see a certain number of complex organisms are not rooted. Click on that, create root, and I'm going to move it to my top storage unit. Just you have to click on that, say that's where it's going to go, and you go create root. And so those products are now going to be extracted into the unit and then taken to the storage, just like that. So we hit submit again, and you can see the link is now highlighted. That means there's units going to be flowing through there. Next thing we want to do is make sure that those units that make it into storage then go automatically into each of the industry facilities to be turned into proteins. So open up the storage unit. Obviously you'll see there's nothing stored in there currently, so you need to go to Roots tab and see what's incoming. Left click on that. You can create a root and then click on the industry facility you want it to go to. I've done that prematurely. If you do it in the order I've just done it, you'll get this warning, so you won't be able to route any there. So cancel that, go to the facility, and when you left click on the facility it will automatically open the schematics tab, and you have to choose the product you want to make at that basic industry facility. I want proteins, so you just left click that, install, and then you have to route the product, and so I want it to go to the other storage unit, so I left click that, create route, and that facility now knows it has to produce proteins, and so we just do that for all 8. It remembers what you were doing, so you can just click through it nice and quickly. Proteins, install that facility, go, install that facility, go, install that facility, go, install that facility, go, install that one, go, and the last one, that one, go. Okay, so all 8 of my basic industry facilities know they need to produce proteins, and they will, when they produce them, they will drop them off in this storage unit. As you can see now, the input route's missing, so there's no units flowing into the facilities. So back to storage, like we were before, go to routes, you've got the incoming, go create route, and this time click on the industry facility and it will route 3000 in that direction. Done, automatically. And now you've unfortunately got to do that 7 more times for each individual facility. I do think CCP should come up with a like a repeat or a just a blanket rule. You should be able to say, I've got a T1 planet, I want 8 of these, bosh. Just so that it's not quite so tedious and a lot of clicking, but it's not too bad. So we'll just click through that, and I'll just talk you through a couple of numbers that are important. Create route, there's the last one, there, submit. So that now is the planet set up and finished. You'll see there's no red, no flashing red. The flashing white means it's pending the input materials. If there's a white solid bar, it means the cycle is running. And basically what will happen is this storage facility will fill up with proteins over time, and then when I'm ready to launch them off the planet, I'll transfer them to the launch pad and send it into space. Just a couple of numbers to note. You can see here at the moment the current cycle output number of units is 19,500. That means in the 15-minute cycle, 19,500 units are going to go to this station. If I go to the program, the average per hour is 57,000 units. That's for the whole cycle period, okay? So that's because, as you can see, it falls off very quickly. So we were getting 19,000 per 15 minutes here, and at our peak we're getting, how many is that? 22,903 units in that 15 minutes. So each cycle here is 15 minutes, but each cycle of the T1 manufacturing facility, the basic industry facility, is half an hour, and you need 3,000 input units. So if at our peak we're getting 22,000 in 15 minutes, that's 40. Call it 40,000 because obviously that's our peak. So say towards the high end we're getting 40,000 units in half an hour, okay? And each of these takes 3,000 every half an hour. That's only 24,000 in half an hour units being used up. That's why I have 8 down. Now that's obviously at the extreme point. For the rest of the time it falls off a little bit from there, and so 8 is plenty from experience. But that's why I've got 8 basically. When you log off, when you come to reset your planet at the end of the 24-hour cycle, you'll see some of them aren't in use because it's fallen off to the low end of the program where the numbers are much smaller. So there you go, at 9,000 per 15 minutes means 18,000 in half an hour, which is only 6 lots of 3,000. So 2 of them won't be operating at that point, but that's why I've got 8, just to talk you through that. And basically that's the planet set up to extract proteins in a wormhole. Like I say, just an ad hoc video. I hope you find it informative. It was helpful. If you did, please like the video. If you want to see more videos from me and you like the format, please subscribe. The next video coming out, we're midway through a structure bash at the moment. My corporation did a good fleet structure bash in the wormhole last night. We've got to finish that off tomorrow. So my next video will be some highlights from the structure bash. So yeah, if you want to see that, please subscribe to the channel. Like I say, I hope you found this informative, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.